Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. A little bit of awake by Godsmack because I am not awake. We are live from Amsterdam right now. Red-eye flight last night. Seat didn't really decline back that far. Wasn't really able to get any sleep. I'm exhausted and just had an unsuccessful nap during Easy's show. But here we are. Clemente, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. Getting over the Halloween scaries from this weekend, but we're living.
What are the Halloween scaries?
You just wake up the next morning, your prisoner costume is on the ground, and you're like, dude, what the hell was happening during this shenanigans that were happening? Yeah, in New York was just an absolute disaster. People were just trashed at like 7 p.m. walking around in the most absurd costumes. Everything was packed till like 3, 4 in the morning, but it was a good time.
Okay, good to hear. Yes, New York, I'd say, is probably a top 2 city in the United States. LA being the other one for Halloween. Everybody loves to play dress up in those 2 cities. LA
I think
especially.
Detroit may be a good Halloween city just because it's scary in general, even outside of Halloween. That's up there. Milwaukee, just because like nobody wants to be there. Cleveland, Ohio, some pretty good Halloween cities.
No doubt. Well, look, ladies and gentlemen, it's Monday, October 30th. Apparently, different countries are changing their clocks. Everybody's time is all messed up. Amsterdam just had daylight savings. I don't even know what time it is. Nifty Nick has joined the Twitter stage. Nick, are you on a journey to Buffalo to try to get a passport?
Yeah, and I don't appreciate Easy's sort of condescending tone about that should just be super easy.
It wasn't condescending, dude. I'm trying to be optimistic because you are deflated. I'm trying to breathe life into your journey. I expect to see you tomorrow, Nick.
You're sending me text messages, and I'm like, yeah, so I have a passport appointment in Buffalo at 1 p.m.
Yep.
I'm taking a flight right now that gets in there at 12:40.
And my text back was, they'll let you in till 2. I'm giving you confidence. I'm like, Nick, they're going to do this for you. You just got to show up, say, I'm Nick O'Neill. That's all you got to say. They know who you are.
Well, hold on. So you didn't say that based on knowledge? You just said that because you're just like... Now this is worse, dude.
No, there is knowledge because, dude, I had to do this before Breakpoint last year. Turns out I lost my passport. I had the previous one, which was 2 years expired. I had moved and thrown out the other passport, and I didn't realize because I looked at the passport. I was like, oh, I'm good. I have it. Opened it up. It was an old passport that was expired. Had to go to the one in Miami, and I saw people just walking in. The guy was like, yeah, my appointment was 10 a.m. It was 1:40, and they're like, yeah, you're good. Just do this before 2. Because they stop. There's like a gap where they have to actually print the passports, but they don't let you in anymore.
This has been a travesty of circumstances. I arrived at the airport and they're like, well, yeah, your passport expires in December. And I'm like, what the hell? So then I leave, I get home and I'm calling. In New York, there's these services that do same day expired renewal. And it was $1,500 they were going to charge me to renew. But he was like, hey, what's the passport number? So I go looking for the passport and I can't find it. Somehow the passport was lost between JFK and my apartment. I have no idea what happened. Like, I think I know, but the airport can't find it. I thought it was left at the ticket desk, but they said I drove back to JFK. So I spent another hour and a half last night going to JFK. This is the worst trip ever, or travel process ever. But here's hoping this works out.
Well, way to grind it out, Nick. Ladies and gentlemen, if you need additional context, Nick and all of us actually learned about the rule, which is it doesn't matter when your passport expires. It sounds like if it's within 1 year of expiration, just get a new one. That's it. Like that really is kind of the lesson that I've learned is if it's within 1 year of expiration, just get a new one because the expiration date doesn't really matter. If they're going to say you can't travel within 6 months, you can't travel within 90 days, it doesn't really matter.
The U.S. says you can't travel within 6 months, so this is actually generous by our standards. It's more difficult to fly to the U.S. now, ever since COVID, and so and now there's been this escalating like war between Europe and the U.S. I'd read some articles on this where like they're talking about increasing the delay and making it more inconvenient for you to get there, and that you may need like a visa to like fly to Europe now. Like it's a whole, and the U.S. is actually the catalyst for this, because they've made it more difficult for everybody else, and so everybody else is now making it more difficult for the U.S. So I feel like this sort of activity is all just part of diplomatic negotiations. Let's just say, fortunately, we're not in more dire straits at this moment. So I have a privileged situation of being able to just like get up and fly to Buffalo and pay the fee. And I don't even know if they only accept checks. Like I have one check on me. So
No, they take debit card.
Sorry, what?
They do take card. They do.
Debit card.
You're kidding me, debit card.
Well, I mean, debit card would make sense because they don't want to pay a credit card fee. They just want cash, but they're not like 500 years old.
I have a debit card.
Yeah,
I have one on
should be
me.
fine. Yeah, because I paid debit when I had to do mine. Honestly, dude, my experience with getting it redone was actually pretty smooth. It sucks you have to go to Buffalo, but like I showed up, they took my paperwork. They said, come back in 3 hours. I said, okay. Came back in 3 hours. They handed it to me and I was good. What's stressful is like, oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, knowing Buffalo, it's going to be like a blizzard there or something like that. But what were you
What's
saying?
stressful is you show up when they tell you, like, pick it up, and there's this long-ass line. Like, I'm talking, like, 100 people, and you're like, this is going to take forever. But they fly through it. They're just, like, throwing these passports into your hands and telling you to leave. For a government office, it was oddly efficient. I was like, okay. The worst part, though, is when someone goes, they don't have the right paperwork, and they get into a heated yelling match with the staff. Because I've seen that both times.
Easy keeps cutting out, and I don't know if that's me or if it's him. I have no idea.
It's got to be you, buddy. Got to be you. But
it's got to be me in transportation. Anyways, wish me luck. I'll see you guys in Amsterdam.
Of course, Nick. It's good to hear about the war that is being fought on the front of convenience between other countries and the United States, pushing back how long ahead of the expiration date of a passport you need to be prepared.
I'm supposed to go on the additional first world problems here. I'm supposed to go to Aruba on Saturday after we come back. And Aruba's chill. They're just like, is it valid? Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, Aruba's trying to get that.
That's basically
that tourist capital. They want a little bit of, revenue generation off of a tourist. They're chill. Meanwhile, here in Amsterdam, they're not trying to, have you eat any of their Dutch pancakes unless your passport is apparently 1 year in the green. I don't know. Anyway, look, ladies and gentlemen, fantastic to hear about Nick's journey. Nick, you better be recording videos, dude. You better be recording videos of this journey to Buffalo.
Dude, I have literally the entire call that I had recorded, and I spill coffee in the midst of this call all over myself, all over my desk, and I'm like, wipe it. Dude, it's been at every single step, there's been some sort of catastrophic first world problem situation. I'm like, and then you'll never believe it. The coffee spilled on my desk. like, to be clear, there's people at war right now, and I'm talking about the coffee that spilled on me, but it still is annoying.
Yeah, you'll survive, buddy. It's a tough life out here in Amsterdam, too. My hotel has a personal sauna in the room, as you already know. What the one requirement I gave to our admin when it came to finding a hotel is I go find a hotel that's near the conference that has a good sauna. And she found this hotel, and I was like, this is perfect. It has a finished sauna. And then when you go to checkout, you can select a room that has a sauna in the room. So that's the level that we're operating at over here, in case you're wondering.
The way that you're describing that is like it's a 5-star hotel. I think like what was the fee for the whole week? Like a few $100 bucks?
For the sauna, it was like an extra 120 bucks for the whole week.
No, but what was the whole room was like not that expensive for context.
It's not that expensive because it's in Zandam. It's not in Amsterdam. So we are not in Amsterdam right now. Actually, we are in Zandam, a neighboring city, because that's where the Solana conference is. It's a half hour outside of Amsterdam by car. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to discuss the Bored Ape Yacht Club pre-ApeFest pump. We're going to talk about Captainz soaring ahead of the meme coin airdrop. And we're going to talk about flooring protocols' impact on the NFT market. We have Signal, I believe, audio only today. Signal, are you here with us?
Yeah, I am, guys. Sorry about this. The clock's changed, and I was like, cool with it. I was like, yeah, the clock's changed. I know what I need to do. What I didn't think about was that it's changed relative to you guys. So I just finished listening to a space and they talked about it, and then I went off to go like prepare my coffee, like just to go before the show. And then I realized it's already 9 a.m. Eastern. So I couldn't basically run back fast enough and set up. So spaces audio only. We all love the clock change that happens twice a year. Obviously, this is something that we all need in our lives just so it continues smoothly. But anyway, whatever, I'm here. It's Monday, October 30th. We are in the penultimate weather report before we hit November. That market volume coming in at 9.9 million, Blur at 6.8, OpenSea at 2 million. Looking at the market leaders, well, shout out to Signal, who called this as the #1 performer for October. They're up 60% over the weekend to almost 6 ETH, while Bored Apes are up 8% to 30 ETH, and Azuki are down just slightly, down 3%. Other movers include Cool Cats, they're up 15%, Mockaverse up 50%, and Milady's up 12% to 2.5 ETH. So looking like green all over the markets. Onto the main headlines. Well, Bored Apes saw a continued weekend rally as we enter ApeFest week. They're up 14% in the last 7 days. They're nearing that 30 ETH after bottoming in sort of around the low 20s just a month ago. Their floor price is over $50,000 for the first time since mid-August, and anticipation is growing for ApeFest in Hong Kong. Over to Social Fine, Stars Arena meltdown just continues as their CEO announced he has stepped down from his role. You look at that TVL, it looks like a black run on a ski slope, just down 80% to 300,000 in the last 8 days, with belief in the platform decreasing by the day. Over on the Opepen side, Jack Butcher has announced that Opepen Set 25 will be a collab with Snowfro, and it's going to be squiggle themed. The unrevealed Opepen floor just absolutely surged over 40% to 0.55 before pulling back to around 0.48. There's over 10,000 opt-ins for this set, which will drop this afternoon and is expected to be one of the most valuable Opepen sets. And then lastly, Captainz, they're the winner of the weekend. And why? It's because of Binance. Binance have announced they're going to be listing meme coin on its launch, and Flooring Protocol swept the collection to provide liquidity for the platform after a bank run occurred. Captainz are up 40% in the last 7 days and have their highest USD floor since July 21st. So looking good on the October picks. It is back to you folks in Amsterdam.
Fantastic weather report as usual, Signal. What was the bank run? I missed the bank run of Captainz. What does that mean? Sig?
I am also wanting to know what the bank run is.
I got you.
Clemente, what is the bank run?
I got you. So Flooring Protocol, they have two different options. They have these vaults that you can put in there, and then just the token side of things. So the vault, you still retain the NFT. If you just put it into Flooring Protocol's regular standard, you actually just get their tokens for it. What happened was, because Captainz pumped so much, that the person who had put a bunch of Captainz in there into just the regular Flooring Protocol withdrew all of his, which brought the number of Captainz in Flooring Protocol to, I believe, 0, which could technically cause the peg to their token to depeg. So what happened was they converted all of those Captainz into vaulted NFTs, not just Flooring Protocol NFTs. And what Flooring Protocol had to do was they said, oh, this is basically a bank run. We actually have a smart contract that wasn't activated yet that would actually go and sweep the floor to repeg them. So Free Lunch Capital had to go. He swept, I believe, 50 Captainz to then put them back into Flooring Protocol to make sure that peg does not depeg. So it's basically a bank run when the impermanent loss gets to a certain threshold and you have people withdrawing from the Flooring Protocol, which is what happened. But instead of because price went down, because price went up, the person saw an arbitrage opportunity to then put them in the safe vaults, which led to that potential depegging. So Flooring Protocol took action, stopped what they said was a bank run by sweeping Captainz floor, which actually led to this aggressive price action.
Well, thank you for that explanation of some extremely niche financial things that only apply to the NFT space and may only apply for a few months. But we appreciate your deep level of understanding, Easy. Look, some updates from the Daily Digest. The Daily Digest is posted to X every morning. It's pinned up top, and it's emailed to anyone that subscribes at thenifty.com. Mochaverse launches Realm Points, which are an on-chain loyalty-style system. Meanwhile, their floor has rallied over 75% in the last week. Super Rare has announced that artist XCopy will be November's Rare Pass artist. The Rare Pass continues to hold an 80th floor. Sounds like XCopy is back to, making art, selling it, and making a bunch of money. So we'll see how it impacts his the size of his supply. And forgive me, ladies and gentlemen, I did not sleep last night, so my my communication might not be as smooth as it normally is. The number one ranked DGod sold for 110 Ethereum, 196K to none other than Free Lunch Capital, the only guy buying NFTs right now. BitBoy goes viral once again, this time for selling access to a private trading group for $4,000. This guy is different.
Yo, one sec on this. So I was looking at the website, and there was the review that BitBoy put on there. I don't know if he meant to actually say it was from himself, but it says Ben Armstrong reviewed it, and he only gave himself 4 stars. Why would you not give yourself 5?
So, ladies and gentlemen, we have the website pulled up, which is basically like an info marketing, web page that's designed to lead to conversion. And, the testimonial section with the reviews is what Clemente is referring to. But there's only one review, and it's from Ben Armstrong, from BitBoy Crypto himself. And as Clemente pointed out, it's 4 out of 5 stars, which is absolutely hilarious. It says the indicator I've been wanting for years has finally arrived. It's a game changer. Pretty damn funny. Blake just said, at least the man is honest. Always room for improvement. Very, very funny comment there, Blake. Last story from the newsletter, Ben.eth, if you remember that guy, announces another token called $BEG, raising multiple 6 figures. Bunny is thinking about sending Ben.eth money. Bunny, is that true?
Maybe. So here's the thing, right? I think 3 out of his 4 projects so far have been profitable for pre-salers, right? That's including the NFT drop.
Okay, so you're thinking about giving Ben.eth some money.
I mean, I think there's worse things to invest in. I'm not going to send this. I'm not going to back up the Brinks truck for Ben.eth, right? But I mean, I know somebody who's if you put 0.1, and I know somebody who put 0.1 into the pre-sale of Ben. He sold that for 16K, right? I know PSYOP was like a 10x from pre-sale if you sold the top. Loyal was the one that bombed, right? And here's the thing, he gets Ponzi-nomics better than just about anybody in the space, right? So he'll fuck with the liquidity pool and he'll give you the exit pump that you need.
I like your sound logic. Bunny, do you have any FOMO of Amsterdam or I guess ApeFest, which is also happening at the same time, or is your position I don't want to go anywhere or do anything?
Amsterdam, absolutely not, right? It's a Solana event. I'm good. Hong Kong, of course, dude. The ape community. I was saying this the other day. The ape community, sleeping giant, dude. And you saw that after they got the judgment from the lawsuit, right? When they got all the money, everybody, my whole timeline was filled with, it's a good day to be an ape, right? And everybody posted their ape. So I like ApeFest. The last ApeFest was by far the best IRL NFT event I've ever been to. It's not even close, dude.
And how many have you been to? 2?
Well, I mean, there was how many days of ApeFest was there last year? I went to all of them last year.
Well, it was in New York and you live in New Jersey. We'll see if you go to future events. Also, one of the commenters said I should have bought a Mutant Ape since I was talking about buying back into the Mutant Ape Yacht Club before ApeFest, before they pumped. I just checked. They pumped by 0.7 ETH. So it's still pump for ants territory here, considering we are 6 months out from the Bitcoin halving, meaning there's a full 1 year minimum pump city level for Bitcoin and thus other crypto assets, it's going to be tough to get monster NFT pumps until we fully see that kind of manifest itself over the next calendar year. So can only have so much FOMO here in NFT stuff, because if 0.7 ETH is a pump on Mutant Apes, that is full tilt pump for ants territory. Anyway, we got Opepen and a Snowfro collab. So Snowfro and Jack Butcher are collaborating on an Opepen set, which is expected to be released this evening. As a result, speaking of pumps for ants, Opepens are up 15% in the last week. Signal, you follow Jack Butcher. What do you make of this collab?
I'm a Butcher fan. I am, and I am an Opepen fan. And the last few, some of the recent partnerships I haven't been like the biggest fan on. I really didn't like the VVD one that he recently did, but I think he's nailed it with doing Snowfro. I think Snowfro, as well as what he's doing with Velocity Pass, what he's doing with Art Blocks, trying to like push it out so it's more than just Chromie Squiggle, that it's actually a brand that sits by itself and could potentially become a household name. I think what Snowfro is doing is great. I think what Jack Butcher is doing is great. And when you bring those two together, you can see that the space also thinks the same, considering this has had one of the highest opt-ins, and people believe that when this goes to reveal, potentially it could become the #1 set, or perhaps, top 3. I was quite surprised because I think it was on Friday, I was talking about I had my eye on a couple of potential collections. And this was still sitting, I think, around 0.37, 0.38 on Friday. And the news was already out and it just hadn't pumped yet. And I was quite surprised. So I think what this shows is that there's still a lot of fragility in the market, if you like. People aren't really committing their chips yet. But for me, I was like, this is a no-brainer that this is going to move. And whilst it might not be the pumps that we're used to of the past, it has hit the direction of going up, which is what I thought it would do. I'm a big fan of Snowfro. Snowfro and Opepen is just it's a marriage. It's a marriage made in heaven, I think, from a PFP side and from the art side. And I hope this becomes one of the sets that is sort of everlasting, that it's like you have the first Genesis collection, and I really do think this could potentially stay in a top 3 or top 5. So I like it, and it's going to be one of those sets that even if the price goes down over time, I still think it's one of the collections to kind of have. We were all looking at Nifty Next Wallet the other day, and we were all like, wow, you've got a really good 2021 NFT collection. If I could throw that in here, I would put that in here as well, sort of like a representation of what's happened in the space in the last 2 to 3 years.
Well, YouTube commenter WTF Bren OMG said this is the first Pepin set that he wants. So interesting to see some love from the NFT community towards this Opepen set. What I'll say is same thing I said about Bored Ape Yacht Club. The market knows that the Bitcoin halving is in 6 months, and therefore within 1 year, Bitcoin will make an all-time high, and subsequently Ethereum and Solana will too. And when that happens, obviously NFT, when there's face melting pumps on the underlying crypto assets, there can be some pretty wild price action for NFT. So it'll be hard to get a real gnarly pump. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a mimetic pump, as we like to say, like something like Sproto Gremlins or some random stuff like that people force a pump on. But organic pumps that are going to be face melting will be hard to come by until about a year from now, in my opinion. Easy, do you have any predictions for Opepen and Snowfro?
I think these things fly. I think we saw the Pudgy Penguin ones a few ETH. I want to say, I don't know the exact floor, but dude, if these things come out basically at the price of a squiggle, would I be surprised to know? I think these things are going to absolutely pump. They're animated. It's a PFP of a squiggle with Jack Butcher. It feels like an absolute home run.
Well, there you go. Moving on to the Captainz huge rally. Captainz are up 40% in the last week, 80% in the month of October, nearing a 6 Ethereum floor. Their most recent run was due to Binance announcing they'll be listing meme coin and flooring protocol afterwards, sweeping after the Bankrun that Easy described on the platform. So Easy, are you going to sell your Captain at this point?
It's listed, PO.
At what price?
6.024.
Okay.
I want out. I need out. I'm gonna take my profit here. I'm gone. I'm a proud Memeland community member. I said it on my show. Ray Chan is currently my background on my laptop. 9gags my homepage. Just until this Captainz out of my wallet.
Easy. I think you should have like listed it a little bit lower. I don't think it's gonna sell. I think
We'll see, Clemente. I've been a proud community member now for almost 7 years, is what it feels like. Maybe even 8 years. And at this point, I'm proud to continue to bag hold it. We're up. I'm not underwater anymore. It still doesn't feel good, but I'm here. I'm still here.
They're crushing. I mean, I was looking at their, like, if you see here, basically, for the people listening, I'm pulling up the recent sales for Captainz the last 24 hours, and this pump from 5.4 to almost 6 ETH was all flooring protocol. Was all free lunch capital rebuying these Captainz easy. So at 6 ETH, I don't know if it's going to get back up. Honestly, if I were you, I'd be listing this bad boy at 5.6 and just getting out what you can.
So you're telling me to attack the floor?
I'd be attacking that floor like there was no tomorrow.
Offer? What's the highest offer right now?
5.57.
Doesn't sound too bad, man. Maybe I hop on Blur and set that royalty to 0.5%, and we just get up on out of here.
Royalties are enforced on this.
Oh.
3.3%. And they NFT Stats put up a chart over the weekend or on Friday showing the top collections receiving royalties in the last like 6 months or something, and just Captainz just dominating. I think they got like 1.5 million in royalties compared to everyone else. They're just crushing. So those 3.3% is doing well for them.
I mean, enforced royalties on a high volume collection with a very high floor price absolutely can be profitable. So, I mean, that would be profit for easy in ETH terms for sure. Maybe not robust US dollar profit, because I do remember ETH had that period of time where it was up at $2,000 for a little bit when Captainz went to 10 ETH. I feel like I remember, oh my God, the camera, man, with this internal temperature. What the hell? I mean, I'm about to have to bring this camera to like the Sony people. It was doing this when I was filming Nick's haircut for the Nick Gets Young video. What the hell are we doing here with this overheating?
So Pia, we'll sync on it afterwards. Same thing happened to me. You just got to change it in the settings.
Change what? Is there a setting? Don't overheat?
Yeah, there's literally a setting that's don't overheat. So you just have to turn that off. Yeah, it would happen to me when I first got this camera. Nick and I solved it. We'll sync on it afterwards. But
I mean, preposterous, man. It's like so not okay. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just very thrown off that a $5,000 camera setup is like, I don't know what to do. I'm overheated because it's been functioning for 31 minutes here while I'm on the road in Amsterdam, and now I'm just an empty face. I'm just a black screen on YouTube. Forgive me, ladies and gentlemen. I just get a little bit thrown off when $5,000 technology can't make it more than a half hour, including when I was shooting the haircut with Nick in a hipster barbershop in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. Wasn't the time for a camera to overheat. Anyways, Bored Ape Yacht Club is a comeback season in the works. Bored Apes have their highest US dollar floor price, $54,000 US since August 16th, 2023. Their floor price is up 14% in the last 7 days as anticipation for ApeFest this weekend heats up. So, Bunny, what do you make of this run? What do you expect to happen during ApeFest?
I mean, I don't think this run is because of ApeFest. Is that what, like, I'm supposed to believe? Like, you can't.
What's the reason then, Bunny?
What?
Why is it pumping?
Well, the reason is we're so fucking back. That's the reason. What more of a reason do you need, dude?
You heard him.
I don't have an argument.
Buddy, you're not selling into this pump, are you?
No way, dude. These things are going right back to six figures.
Bunny, what is your game plan with your Bored Ape? Do you plan on selling it, or are you just gonna like hold it forever?
To be buried with my ledger.
Is that true?
Yep, that's the game plan. I mean, maybe I don't know what's gonna. I can't predict the future, PO. Right? Like maybe I'll sell it, but the plan is to get buried with the ledger.
Or is it to leave it to your children?
I don't know.
What are you, King Tut? You got to be buried with the damn thing. Why wouldn't you leave it to your children?
I could be buried with the ledger. I was just like, give him the seed phrase, right? And then he could still have it. Or maybe I just print out a picture. Maybe I'll print out a picture and be buried with that.
Okay. Clemente?
Yeah, Bunny, I am curious on your end. Do you anticipate anything like being announced or any sort of big pop to happen during ApeFest, or is it just going to be a good event?
No, I don't think so. I do think we'll get some buzz from the BAPE stuff that'll be dropped there. It looks pretty good from what I've seen so far in the teasers.
The BAPE stuff can't compete with the BoDoggos stuff. Easy. Show them the hat. Show them the hat. Yep. If only we had our HD camera that decided to overheat.
I can't see the hat because I'm on Twitter.
Mm-hmm. Clemente will post it or something. And Nate, hey Bunny, Nate, our YouTube viewer, said Bunny's kids are gonna floor the ape at your funeral.
That's actually a banger. I mean, dude, if I leave it to them, right? That's their prerogative.
That's pretty funny stuff. Anyway,
I'll
ladies,
just haunt them, you know.
So Clemente, looks like you have a question for me according to this call sheet. Is that correct?
Yeah, you bought. I was literally watching footage of you like looking at mutants at 4.9 ETH. You're like, yo, Nick, am I crazy for wanting to buy one of these things? Like they just seem a little bit low right now. This seems like a good price. You missed out. And you've kind of well, hold on here. Well, and this was not like a pump. What'd you call it? A pump for ants? It was not a pump for ants. 4.9 to 5.6. Now we're cooking.
20%.
That's a pump for ants.
When was the last time mutants pumped at all?
Dude, go buy GameStop stock. You're going to get more than 20%. With 0-day expiration call options, you got better plays than a 20% pump for ants.
Oh, no,
well, the other thing is, my first question is, did you just do an impression of me? Did I just see an impression where you were like basically making me seem like a cross between a New Jersey salesperson and I don't even know. Go ahead, Clemente.
Well, the other thing I was going to say is you're low key 5 for 5 on your like last calls that you're on fire right now. Even though you're not buying any of them, but you've made some insane calls. He hasn't missed. What are you buying next, Pio? Or what are you thinking of buying so I can get my hands on it?
Well, look, I'm gonna because
Bitcoin,
because we have our core loyal YouTube audience here. I see a lot of actually relatively new faces in the Twitter audience as well. I think it's an indicator of us like kind of being back the way Bunny said. I'm willing to disclose the very, very, very private and high value information that I have on what assets in the market I am choosing to buy. So everybody, here's the big reveal. I'm buying fucking Bitcoin, baby. I forgot this is not the right roadcaster. I do not have my sound effects here. Those are the stock sound effects. Bitcoin, we are 6 months out from the Bitcoin halving, ladies and gentlemen. It's $34,000. I've been telling you this literally since $18,000, how important Bitcoin is right now ahead of the halving. Nobody wants to listen ever. People get mad. People leave comments on YouTube and say that they enjoy the show except for when I talk about Bitcoin. It is completely ridiculous. What else do you want me to say? The most important asset maybe ever is going through its fourth halving. It's a pretty big deal, ladies and gentlemen.
So you heard the man himself, Bitcoin punks are what Pio's buying here. Bitcoin punks.
This is such bullshit, Pio. Just play the game. Play the game. We're not talking the next 5 years. We literally just want, hey, in the next 3 to 7 days, what degenerate collection should we get our hands on?
I'd rather bet on mixed martial arts. I feel like I have more of an edge there, like just literally trying to do DraftKings or FanDuel on a fight. Do you know how random the NFT market is? Let me tell you guys a secret. Everybody that was like a full-time NFT trader, everybody that was like I literally was on a call with a guy recently who said he was a video. Actually, I'm not even going to say. I don't want to like.
Don't air him out.
I don't want to totally air this.
We gotta look through what Pio's talking about here. This whole episode. All right. So he did say Bitcoin, right? There is a ticker Bitcoin,
No.
not BTC. And earlier in the episode, he also made something about memification or something. Memification? Memetics. Sounds like Sproto Gremlins to me is what he's excited for.
No.
If we start connecting the dots here, he said Bitcoin. He said memetics. I think there's only one play.
Well, anyway, that's not true. But what I was going to say is everybody that made money in 2021 on NFTs was just buying random shit and everything went up because there was like less than 30 total things you could buy the whole year. And there was worldwide hype on NFTs. So the liquidity injection was insane. All you had to do was sell. It's basically just musical chairs during that period of time. And these days, the reason I brought up Mutant Apes is because Mutant Apes are an actual quality collection in the sense that it's like Yuga Labs. It's the biggest entity in NFTs. You're in the Yacht Club if you have a Mutant Ape. It dropped as low as 5 Ethereum. At 5 Ethereum, it starts to be like, okay, cool. But the thing is like, I'm still scared to get out of the Ethereum position because of what could happen. Dude, we got the old boys in DC getting so jazzed up right now about dialing up 2, maybe 3 wars. We got all these wars on the table. They're about to be printing hella money. The Fed's gonna realistically cut rates in the next. If it ain't, but before I would have told you you're crazy if you said by the end of this year they're gonna cut rates. Now I'm like, it might actually happen before the end of the year, and then it'll definitely happen in Q1 of next year. So between war-related money printing and a Fed rate, like loosening monetary policy from the Fed, we're about to be cooking. Oh, what's that line up with? The Bitcoin halving. I'm going to have 100K Bitcoin within 12 months. 12 months, right? And so it's kind of, that's going to be a face melting pump. People are going to be texting you about Bitcoin that you went to college with. It's just hard for me to get out of those assets and into the JPEGs. But then when the JPEGs come back around, that's a face melting pump in itself. So maybe the position is to just have the JPEGs, but I can't do any like 3 to 7 day trades. I mean, we're just working all the time. I mean, I don't know. I can't be, popping onto the MetaMask every single day. Bunny, you have your hand raised. What's going on?
Yeah, there's nothing I hate more than an MFer who uses the word memetics, right? Like, you don't sound smarter. You're talking about fucking memes, dude. Like, you couldn't sound like a bigger pretentious idiot than if you use the word memetics, bro.
So, Pio, for context, too, Bunny's an English major, and he's letting you hear it right now.
Well, number one, I didn't expect that. That was funnier than I thought. Number two, literally go F yourself, Bunny. I was commenting on the memetic nature of the space. I don't know what other words you want me to say. It's just the appropriate adjective. That was really funny. Anyway, is there any more meat on the bone of the Bored Ape discussion? I'm over here pulling up the next major UFC pay-per-view to try to make picks in that because those are more realistic bets for me. I think that's Clemente. There's nothing else for us to cover on the Bored Ape front, right? Moving on to flooring protocol.
Yeah, I thought it would be like genuine analysis from Bunny. He's just pumping his bags like usual.
Well, he's not doing that good of a job because these pumps are literally for ants. Anyway, flooring protocol continues to gain traction. The flooring protocol wallet owns 115 Bored Apes, 300 Pudgy Penguins, 250 Azukis, 240 DGOTs, 640 Utes, and more as people continue to deposit their NFTs into the platform to earn fees and tokens. Easy, have you used the platform yourself yet?
Not a single time, Pio. Haven't even thought about it. I'm going to be brutally honest here. I've seen how this cycle plays out before. We've seen fractionalization of NFTs on the Solana blockchain multiple times. Elixir, quality project, great team, had been doing this on Solana for the better part of 6 months, even teasing airdrops and other things for the better part of a year. What am I talking about? 6 months. And what happens is it dries up. People look at it, they're like, oh, this is cool. It's easy to get in and out of positions. It's like meme coin trading, shit coin trading, but with NFTs. We're just taking these pictures, which are non-fungible tokens, and making them fungible. We're adding tokens to them. We're diluting the supply because now what you get is 1 million tokens per NFT. So 1 million times 10,000. And you got like, it opens up all these other financialization assets. I'm not interested in it. I've done it on Solana. It was cool for 2 weeks. I want no part of it. You're seeing this pump across the market basically on speculation of what the next flooring protocol project's going to be. And maybe I'm out to lunch. Maybe people are going to be like, well, you're fading the next big thing. I'm good on missing this. I'll catch the next one. We'll see something else pop up in Q4, end of the year, start of next year, and we'll attack it there.
I hope it's the next big thing. I tell people all the time that I want there to be quality software products and quality entities in the space that aren't just designed so one or two people can make $1 to $5 million and then they just ride off into the sunset. I want there to be a Mark Zuckerberg type thing. I was listening to a podcast with Sam Altman the other day, Sam Altman, the founder of OpenAI, talking about his concern over the rising age of unicorn startup founders. Because in the 2010s, the average age of unicorn startup founders was in their 20s. And now the age is skewing much older, like in their 30s. And his question is, where the hell are all the 20-something-year-olds? I guess they're complaining about not having a job on social media and complaining about popping too many Xanaxes and all this stuff because you see these TikTok videos and stuff. But instead, I'd rather these people be crushing it in the NFT space, building some bleeding edge technology that ends up having long-term staying power. So I hope that all we talk about over the next year is flooring protocol. I hope the founder of flooring protocol doxes himself. I hope he raises rounds of funding 8 times. He hires 100 employees. He has an office in New York City and he takes the thing public. Literally. I hope that's the level that this happens. But I have no idea what's going to happen to it in the short term.
One of the things that I'm curious about, because we've been talking about this for the last week. The NFT market has been ripping. I mean, we're looking good. But
if
part of me
Pumps for Ants is a rip, then yeah, for sure.
No, I'm fired up about it, but the only thing I'm thinking about is how much of this pump is because of flooring protocol, or is it because sentiment is changing because people are getting excited about crypto again, and therefore also NFTs as a luxury asset on top of that. If it's all flooring protocol, that would genuinely just make me pretty upset, because that just means I need to sell everything that I have with this exit liquidity while it's there.
How much stuff do you have? Like, what's your level of exposure to NFTs?
I got some elementals. I have I sold my bean, actually.
You have an abusive relationship with Azuki, man. Like, they just keep kicking your ass and you refuse to exit.
So this was actually a genius play by me.
Sorry, Clemente. It's mobile setup. Sorry.
No, so I put in an elementals bid for 0.4 ETH like a month and a half ago, and it just sat there. I never got it away. Picked up some blur points while I was sitting there accumulating, and it pumped to like 0.55, and then it dipped to 0.4 again. I accidentally bought one, and then I've rode this wave. I think we're up to like 0.52. Hey, is that a pump for ants, Pio? I just made $250.
Yeah, it is a pump for ants. Yes. Did you sell it? Because you're going to pay a bunch of fees on the way out.
I do need to sell this thing. No, it's only 0.5 royalties.
In that statement. Is that a pump for ants, Pio? I made $250. Whoa,
yeah, I'm making that money. I'm making that money. I will say that announcement that I was talking about, how like Azuki needs to have something coming out, and it's just the goddamn bean spray painting that stuff. That was their big announcement. I don't like if they rolled that out and that was like maybe their big thing that they had lined up for Q4. I think Azuki might be toast. Well, okay, I'm gonna have to sell this elemental while I'm at it.
Azuki will never be toast. It's absolutely just grandfathered in at this point. People are like, we like it. Shut up. People are like, we don't care what you say about the people that made it. We don't give a shit. We like the picture. We're going to buy it. It's going to be around literally forever. They shouldn't make any more announcements. I don't like this announcement thing. What the hell is the announcement going to be? Just leave it alone. It's a JPEG.
No, an announcement would be they drop their part 2 of their what is that anime thing they did with the airbender guy and the bunny. That would be
cool. They made a whole show for sure.
Episode 2 just dropped. Go check it out. They posted on TikTok, gets 2 million views. They posted on Instagram. They take over and everyone's like, yo, what's Azuki doing? That would be right
then
there. Elementals hit
another $40
0.65.
million plays.
Another $250 gain for your boy. That's not a goddamn pump for ants. Now we're starting to cook. They're up 25-30% in the last 30 days, and we start building traction again, and I get the exit liquidity I want on my elemental. Boom.
Well, I'm getting a kick out of the fact that I'm just looking in the audience on Twitter, seeing a lot of faces that are either new faces or faces I haven't seen in a long time. It is an indicator of where we're at in the market. And what we're sharing with them is just Clemente trying to make $200 trading an Azuki asset, expecting an announcement that's literally never going to come.
Yeah, because I'm trying to drop some fire because all you're saying is buy Bitcoin for the next 6 months. Well, I'm trying to help. I'm trying to spread some alpha for the crew that's listening. Because all you're saying is buy Bitcoin, and Easy is over there. I can barely even see him in the corner, and then Bunny's pumping his board 8 bags.
Well, I'm like your dad telling you to eat your vegetables. I don't know what to tell you. So Easy, real quick, for someone that is new to it, what do people, or Signal, you have your hand raised, then we'll go to Easy. Signal, what's going on?
Yeah, I feel you, Clemente. I'm over here as well, like thinking Pio is giving us Bitcoin advice again. The people need to hear something different. So Pio, sit back and let's think about what could we buy in the next 3 to 7 days. Well, I'm thinking depends how deep your pockets are, right? It kind of depends how deep your pockets are. And it's a name that we haven't heard in a while, but Mr. Damien Hirst is back. And he's back for your cash. He's
going to rob you.
Sorry, guys.
You okay?
Sorry. Yeah, I'm done.
Damien Hirst got the tongue.
Damien Hirst is coming after me. He's called Damien. No, but what's quite interesting is he has a new collection coming out. Is based on his very vibrant cherry blossoms that he's known for. In like an incredible exhibition if you ever get to see it IRL. And he's releasing 300 large blossoms, if you like. They're each going to cost $45,000.
Oh my God.
And then there's going to be six. Wait. Let me just finish, people. Let me just finish. And then there's going to be 600 small paper blossoms, and they're going to be 25,000 each. So obviously these are deep numbers for people. So what are we thinking? Well, what's his name? D Farmer came out saying that potentially the currency could therefore be undervalued if you were to get it as a physical. I know this would make Nick extremely happy since he owns both the NFT and the physical. But it's been one of the questions raised that even like obviously the currency, it was originally a 10,000 collection. So obviously the supply is completely different. But Damien Hirst is Damien Hirst. We saw what happened with Rafiq Anadal. I think Damien was extremely early to NFTs. He was on it. If you had got the currency for 1 ETH, which was $3,000 at the time, I think it pumped to 20 ETH.
Yeah.
I want to say around 20 ETH when ETH was at 4K. So it pumped to it was just, a meteorite of its time. And then obviously it's pulled back down to around 2 ETH. But, looking at the plays of the long term of what could potentially be interesting to hold, I still think that the currency, whether you want to own the physical or whether you want to own the NFT, is one of those collections, considering what he's coming out with Paper Blossoms, which is a 900 supply, but obviously a considerably higher price. So Clemente, I'm throwing that in there so the audience doesn't have to buy Bitcoin.
So instead of Bitcoin, which I think you could get almost 2 Bitcoin, you can buy a Damien Hirst physical cherry blossom.
I wonder.
No. I'm saying the currency. I'm not saying by the cherry blossoms. I'm saying the currency could be undervalued.
Anyway, real quick on Damien Hirst. It's actually funny you bring up Damien Hirst, Signal. And by the way, I can get behind buying Damien Hirst because he's an actual established artist that the traditional art market values. In the airport here in Amsterdam, I guess it was this morning. It already feels like it was yesterday, but this morning I'm walking and I see an ad for the MoCo Museum. It's an independent museum of modern and contemporary art here in Amsterdam. And it said Basquiat and Haring and Koons and Kasuma and Warhol and Hirst. And I was like, damn. So they're still trying, they're still propping up Hirst in a big way. I mean, you can't forget that he is significant in the traditional art world, 1,000%. In the documentary, The Price of Everything, which I believe was from 2018, one of the collectors has several Damien Hirst pieces and was commenting at that point in 2018. So this is like pre-NFT era for sure. I mean, of course, NFTs existed, but no one knew what they were yet. The collector, the billionaire collector in The Price of Everything, was commenting on how Hearst's prices had already been going down in a significant way. He had basically bought the top of like this. There was like some sort of piece where Damien Hirst put like a shark in a tank. He does like really weird stuff. There was one with like a lamb, and they had to like, I don't know. There's a lot going on there. But anyway, Damien Hirst, very, very interesting. If Damien Hirst, people make fun of me. People think that I'm saying bad things here. But look, here's the reality. If Damien Hirst died tomorrow, all the NFTs would pump really, really hard. When artists die, these things pump like crazy. But he's only like 60. So he literally could be around for like another 50 years, depending on how Brian Johnson does with his immortality stuff. Anyway, just throwing it out there. Moving on to the flooring protocol info. For someone that is new to it, Easy, what do they need to know about how flooring protocol works? Like, can you break it down in a really simple way? Or Bunny, real quick, what's going on, Bunny? Oh, okay, Bunny.
Sorry, my hands are. I'm doing the dishes. Okay, so I get what you're saying about. I know people are going to take this the wrong way, but I get what you're saying about Damien Hirst kicking the bucket. Because like, if I bet on the Lakers and they're down 25 in the fourth quarter against the Warriors, right? I'll be like, if Steph Curry croaks on the court right now, there's no way the Warriors could possibly rebound, right? Like Klay Thompson's going to be shaken up on the court, visibly upset. So I've done it. I've done the same thing you've done.
So you unmute. You just you had to get that joke off your chest. You couldn't go on without that joke right there. Also, Blake just said Bunny's wife runs a tight ship as you do the dishes at home, Bunny. Anyway, Easy, can you break down in a very simple and easy to understand way flooring protocol?
Yeah. So probably the easiest way to understand it is when you buy a coin, you receive that token. You go to buy Doge, you can buy 1 million Dogecoin. Now take an NFT, and now imagine if you could swap the NFT for 1 million of a token that represents the NFT. So let's take Pudgy Penguins, for example. Flooring Protocol has predefined collections that you can swap for. So you can take one Pudgy Penguin and swap it for 1 million U-Pudge is what they call them. Like they put a U before whatever the ticker name is. And now what you have is a representation of a fractionalized. So think of it as if you own tokens in the NFT. So in this case, if Pudgy goes up 100%, you can sell half those tokens, still own half a Pudgy Penguin, but essentially have zero cost basis. So it's all about taking an NFT, a non-fungible token, and fractionalizing it even more. Where now you own 1 million tokens, I think it's 1 million, and you can sell parts of it or buy more of some if you think that the price will go up without the need to actually own the full NFT. So if you think Pudgy Penguins are going up tomorrow, you can buy $100 worth. If Pudgies go up 20%, you now made $20 on that 100 without needing to buy the full NFT.
Well, we'll have to see how sticky it'll be. What could make it not work easy?
Lack of volume is probably the biggest thing. Like if there's not a lot of volume on stuff like this, interest dwindles. You don't get a lot of liquidity moving. It helps that Free Lunch Capital is putting a lot of his own liquidity behind it and driving that. But if you don't have a lot of consumer adoption or user participation, then volume basically dwindles, fizzles out, and there's just not enough people trading this. So even trying to exit becomes more difficult because there's no buyers on the other side. You can always redeem them, 1 million of the tokens for the NFT. So say you've been holding this 1 million, Pudgy pumps 200%, you then swap the Pudgy and sell that. But it's an extra step versus just buying the NFT. And now there's a ton of different ways to do it. I mean, obviously with Blur and Blend, you can take loans and do all this other stuff. But I just worry that we're continuing to fractionalize and really financialize these non-fungible tokens beyond just the picture and trading the picture.
There you go. Clemente, any thoughts on flooring protocol from your side?
Yeah, I'm encouraged by the fact that it doesn't seem to, like, the usage of this platform does not seem tied to speculation on a future airdrop. I mean, there is an underlying like flooring token that people can gain, but other than that, like, it seems much more of a genuine usage of it versus like someone trying to go in and farm this thing like Blur or like we saw with Friend Tech. So I am excited about that, but it is interesting to hear what Easy said, which would basically be, as Kook Capital put it, a domino rally if the volume dries out, right, Easy?
Yeah, you would have people trying to exit and get the NFTs out, which is what we saw from the person who held the Captainz. Was they obviously had a ton of the tokens from their deposit, saw the price skyrocket, realized they couldn't just sell the tokens, swap them all for the NFTs, potentially depeg the value.
And I think it'll be interesting because, like, I mean, Flooring Protocols added basically all of the top collections onto their platform. So the collections that get added from here are going to have less and less volume inevitably, right?
Yeah, less and less pump, I think, across the board is kind of the same thing we saw. Was the first few projects that got into Blend Giga sent because people could then loan out right away, right after. We've now seen a bunch of projects get added to Flooring Protocol. Lack of liquidity, lack of interest could cause these to not pump as hard. Obviously, a free lunch is going to sweep 200 every time. Sometimes just being early to those gives you a nice exit pump.
That's what I was thinking about is like, I mean, he had to knock amigos, right? But when you look at some of these, like a Creeps, for example, if he sweeps 50 Creeps, that's going to send the floor to like 1.7 ETH or something like that. So if you buy Creeps now, potentially listed at 1.5, 1.6, that's a 50% pump. That's not a goddamn pump for ants, as Pio would say.
Yeah,
that's
Clement, the other side of the coin here. He doesn't sweep. Price goes down. Now you're underwater.
That's a pump for ants.
And I become a Creeps community member.
Proud community member, baby.
You become a creep.
They are up 27% in the last. That's a big gain right there. Let's go. It is wild seeing some of these collections that literally have not pumped in 6 months or so, seeing some volume here. It's pretty encouraging. I mean, Doodles are at 1.5, Moonbirds at 1.9. I've been pretty impressed by the strength that the NFT market's showing. I have to say, despite Solana, Ethereum, and Bitcoin all pumping a good amount, I'm very encouraged by it, to be honest.
Yeah, man, we know you're seeing these pumps for ants and you're really taking them. No, I'm just kidding. It's great to see volume return to NFTs, especially after it was basically a year of people saying that NFTs were dead. Hey, look, ladies and gentlemen, that's our show. We are in Amsterdam for Solana Breakpoint Conference. If you see me and you want to buy the first official set of BoDoggos merch, the hat and the shirt, I have it in my backpack and I've got the point of sale system set up on my phone. You can pay with whatever you want. Solana, USDC on Solana, credit cards, whatever you want. We got Nifty Nick here. Nick, you rejoined. Are you in Buffalo?
No, I'm currently in a airport lounge. I just recorded a video inside of this call room that I'm in, inside of the new Delta lounge. I'm eating a pastry and a Starbucks coffee, and it is really difficult for me right now. I mean, this is an absolute struggle.
Nick, when's your flight take off?
My flight takes off in 1 hour. In the process of selecting this pastry, the gentleman turned to me and he said, "Really?" When I picked it up.
Why?
Picked it up and I actually promptly put it in my mouth to walk away because I had nothing to place it.
So we're losing you, buddy, but it sounds like you just took a pastry and shoved it into your face as fast as you could.
That's basically what happened, and the guy was really offended by that.
Yeah, I've seen that with my own eyes. I remember you had a bag of cookies when we were at the Cape House, and I was like, "Oh, you bought cookies at the grocery store, huh?" And you just opened the bag and just took one, and like the movement from the bag to your mouth was so fast. I was like pretty jarred by it. But anyway, good to hear that you're getting some some glucose ahead of this trip to the passport place over in Buffalo.
I need all the energy that I can, and God willing, the bag will arrive in time for me to take my Uber to the passport agency. But like, leave me in your thoughts and prayers.
You're gonna make it happen, bud. I felt like today when I was thinking about it, I was like, if Nick can't come, then I feel like we're on a tour and the rapper wasn't able to make it, like the rapper got arrested or something, and he's not going to be able to make it to the show. So I really hope you make it, buddy. It would be a rough trip to Amsterdam if you don't, because we have so much content to shoot. Also, because it would be another.
I'm now thoroughly cut out.
Okay. All right. You also haven't seen the Solana community with your own eyes yet, which I view as very, very important. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate everybody listening. We are in Amsterdam. If you are in Amsterdam, come up to us and say what up. Also buy merch. I'm sure it's going to sell out at our event, so front run that. But anyway, yeah, we will be back tomorrow from the hotel room. We are here all week. I believe the only day I will not be able to do the show is Friday. So Clemente will have to host the show without me that day, I think. We will get back to you. But anyway, thanks for listening, everyone. We will fix the